I'm Aloysius, and I am the owner of Haunted Harbor Tours. Now, normally on this channel, I tell ghost stories and true stories of horror and history. If that sounds like fun, absolutely hit subscribe. Now, I'm also going to be doing a lot of tarot card reviews, unboxings, and such like that. I love tarot, and I have studied it for years. Fact of the matter is, people who ask me for readings, when I give readings, I love doing it. Hit me up, tell me that my readings are pretty spot on to what's going on in their life and what's happened in their past, and they later come up to me and tell me that I usually had some pretty accurate statements about what was to come for them. And what I really love these days is the indie market of tarot cards. When I was very young, tarot cards were exceptionally limited. We had to wait for what one company would produce, and usually it was tough to find a deck that really represented me, and decks were very difficult to come by. And now the indie market is opened. Artists are now in control of what they create as far as decks go, and the world's a lot better for it. I love tarot. And today we will be reviewing the Naked Heart Tarot. I've already filmed the unboxing for this video, and if you just want my general opinion of this deck, it's absolutely beautiful, but it has some pretty major flaws. I picked this deck for my first tarot review because it seemed unique, original, and on just a very surface look, it had this beautiful gothic aesthetic that really excited me. And it had some really cool surprises along the way. I'm really, really, truly impressed with everything that had been packed into this deck. And with that, let's get into it.
Here we have the Naked Moon Tarot deck. In its box, all I've done so far is just remove the cellophane. And this deck is created by Jillian C. Wilde. She also has an oracle deck, and this deck can come with a kind of a spread mat, much like this. However, it's laid out with a Naked Heart kind of spread. What to ask the cards, major arcana, minor arcana, let's see what else, and it just goes right in. Does she have spreads in this? Oh. Yes, there is. There are spreads here. There are spreads. So we could do a card a day. We could do the Naked Heart, the Inner Child, New Moon, Full Moon. Very nice. Awesome. We have, seems to be a bit of art. The Naked Heart grid was created with the intention to safely open the heart, build a secure and supported connection with the highest version of yourself, support the flow and unconditional love through the sacred space that is you.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what she's actually saying here.
Get the impression that Jillian is a kind of personal growth guru by statements like that. All right, this deck has been created and set with the intention of providing healing energy, clarity, guidance, and truth. Each card provides insight into the naked heart, where ego is extinguished and purity of light flows within. The Hanged Man. Now, interestingly, this is not the first deck that I have encountered that uses a bat as the Hanged Man. In fact, this is the Hermit of the Naked Heart, and this is the Hermit of Wilde Unknown. Here we have the Naked Heart's Hanged Man, and here we have a bat depicting the Hanged Man of the Wilde Unknown. And here we have the Empress as a tree in the Wilde Unknown, and over here we have the Empress in the form of a tree, though much different. And here's the thing, is this is not a 1v1 comparison. And with all of the cards that I am immediately noticing being very similar, in particular the Hermit and the Hanged Man, it makes sense for the Hermit if you're depicting animals to be a turtle of all things, considering, I mean, a turtle can withdraw into itself and seems to favor seclusion. I think the first animal you would think of when you're thinking of something hanging upside down would be that of the bat. And a card representing the divinity of nature, a tree, would be the most logical for each of those to go with. If you look at something like the Wilde Unknown's Justice, here we have Justice. Again, slightly similar, right? The structure of the cats going in the similar way, a sword in the center. It's absolutely not a direct reskin. There are many cards that are different. However, there are also a lot of similarities running between the two decks. And at this point, I would say she is definitely, I think it's clear by the time you get to Justice, that she is pulling some of the same kind of design elements when she's not directly doing an homage. But we'll see. We're going to go back and we're going to get back to where we were in this kind of look through. However, very early on, it's pretty clear that there is a lot of inspiration that's being pulled from the Wilde Unknown. Ooh. I love the tower. And you know what, man? I am digging the star, too. This is the moon as it stands in the Naked Heart, and this is the moon as it stands. So, you know, I mean, some of the cards, I think she may very well have pulled a little influence from XXII. The Naked Heart. 22. Right? It's a new card. Oh, look at that. Look, she's got the universe, which is the world. And then she's got a new card. Oh, this is wonderful. She's got a new card in the deck. Yeah. XXII is commonly attributed to the Fool, which is also card 0. Well, that's fantastic. So what is the Naked Heart? What is this new card that she's added? Let's read this. I radiate at a pure vibrational level, calling in all that I need at this time to stay in alignment with my past. The universe is highlighting my gifts and asking me to trust myself and my intuition. As I listen to what my heart needs, my natural essence comes forth to be nurtured, and I innately connect with my calling and purpose. Comparing myself to others does not serve me and will only knock me out of my flow. I was given the exact proportion of amazing, otherwise I would not exist. My path may not always feel easy, but will feel right. When I shine bright, I am the spark to someone else's light, and I inspire others. You are brave and beautiful. Fly through the darkness into your light. Heart disconnect, reverse meaning. I ask myself, is my ego leading my path instead of my heart? Well, that's interesting. So this is connection, purpose, higher self. Okay, I like that. I think this is a good addition. I like the Naked Heart being here. Okay. And then for the wands, let's see. And that's wonderful. This art is absolutely fantastic. And the cardstock is really good. Ooh, look at that back. That's quite beautiful. Now, is that the same? Let's look at the... No. Naked Heart. Much different. But I'm loving this. Looks like the Naked Heart is kind of combined with this, dropping this. I will say, these cards, I've shuffled a lot of new decks of cards. This is not a deck that shuffles easy. It seems as though this matted finish that was used here to give it a very flat kind of texture, no shine or sheen to it, makes these cards very difficult to shuffle. And I will say that is a bit of a hindrance. Oh, well, now they're starting to. You just definitely got to break them in. The 10 of Pentacles, which is my greatest desire. Yeah. Inverted, however. 5 of Cups. Typically, the 5 of Cups means having your priorities in the wrong place or being focused on something that you've lost. It might be the loss of a loved one that you're really focused on, having trouble to accept, but it could also be your mind's kind of focusing on things that are not really important. Ask me and I'll fly your pain into the night so that you can awaken with new perspective. Deep-rooted pain, sadness, and loss. As I feel my feelings, and I'm not far, fear them, I give myself an opportunity to release stuck pain. If I allow my feelings to move through me, they may feel like they are hurting me. Okay, so it is. It's the same meaning. It's a very unique piece of art. And honestly, I love the blue. Probably one of my favorite depictions. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's very grim. It's one of the best 9 of Swords depictions I've ever seen. I love this. 2 of Wands, perfect. Here we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is being able to balance and, live your life to the fullest despite financial limitations. And it is very, very present in this very simple graphic design. An hourglass with an infinity symbol containing 2 pentacles, right down to the core of this card's meaning in just a very simple image. 2 of Cups, the 8 of Swords, which is contained. This rose is imprisoned in swords, breaking from formula in a fantastic way while still staying true. Now, I love the Magician. The 3 of Swords is the most iconic card in the traditional Rider-Waite. It is the most important card because it's the card that you see it, you immediately know it. Sorrow. And this takes the traditional, beautiful graphic design, and I love this one. This may be one of my favorite 3 of Swords that I've seen. I love the colors used on the Emperor here. The ugliest cards of the deck. I think it's perfectly fine to have ugly cards in your deck. Fact of the matter is, go look at the 8 of Wands in the Rider-Waite deck. It's pretty clear that card was phoned in by Catherine Smith. The majority, these 3 are separate. The majority of them, I think the problem is they're very hard to see. In such a colorful deck, having these, and there are quite a few other than these, but these are the worst offenders. So much black and so little color. And with the buffalo and with some of the cats, they're almost impossible to make out any fine details. These buffaloes are just blobs, as is this cat here and this cat here. These 3 in particular really have no shape to them. Let's talk about the Hierophant. The Hierophant is probably the hardest card in the deck to come up with good art for, because it's what I like to call the Pope card. Here she's calling it the Sage, which I think is great. However, it's just empty. The Devil I mostly like. It's very reminiscent of Death. This would have been a much better Death. Death here is a human hand. She had removed almost all humanity from the deck, save for this, where you have a skeletal hand. Finally, the 10 of Cups. I see what she's done here. She's taken the rainbow out of the cups and put them into crystals. The color theory doesn't work for me.
My overall opinion of this deck is that it's mighty good. I am quite happy with it. I love the art, and I love everything about this deck, save for some of the writing. It also reads a lot like self help spirituality, which, of course, tarot is, about growth. But sometimes the writing borders on the absurd. The kind of stuff you'll see, posted on an Instagram somewhere, like with a picture of a seashore and, these strange motivational words that when you think about it don't really make much sense. Now, I absolutely love the fact that she went above and beyond, gave extra spreads, even had one that was named after her deck. I love the fact that she had a Naked Moon card. If you wanted to use that extra card, I think that's mighty cool. However, I personally feel there are many cards that kind of hit those exact notes already. I am definitely using this deck. I'm probably going with my studied version of the tarot cards rather than what's provided in that book. I may use the inverted, bottom question that she has contained. I think those are wonderful. It's the strange spiritualism that kind of throws me off with it. Naked Moon Tarot, I would say very strong, very good kind of art and beautiful deck, and I would recommend it despite the strange verbiage that's contained within the book.